thought I was going to be late because it was a last-minute rush on doing things around here. So hang on. There you go. Nope, that way, right over there. If you want to contact me about something, we can talk. All right. So I wanted to talk about this crazy economic conditions and how to succeed in business. In spite of things, really, Hang on, let me go back and get a show and tell book, Might help in our discussion. So I'll be right back. You just wait right there. All right. See this book here? It's the Robert Collier Letter Book. Robert Collier Letter Book. It's thick enough. It's got, let's see, when did it come out? I bought this in 1989. Robert Collier lived from he was born on April 18th, 1885. 1885, and he died January 9th, 1950. Let's see. And the Prentice Hall notation says, with the same sincere enthusiasm that marked his career, Mr. Collier approved the final proofs of this new edition of his letter book only a few days before his death. So I guess this edition came out in 1950, but surely it was written before that. Oh yeah, it first came out in 1931. 1931. 37, 1950, yeah. So I bring this up here, not because I'm highly recommending it to you. You will get a bunch of good ideas if you spend some time with this book. Because you still, we all need to learn to communicate better, and it's an ongoing process, and nobody ever has the ultimate skill. But I bring it up because Robert Collier conducted business all through the Great Depression. And right now, I don't know if you've been keeping up with current events, but the economy is getting its ass kicked. There's supply chain problems. There's a whole lot of unemployment going on. There's inflation that's just, brewing like crazy. How do you conduct business? Well, I'm telling you, as near as I understand the business world, you had better take advantage and learn direct marketing skills no matter what business you're in, because direct marketing skills is the only thing that'll save you. You can't ride the coattails of the dynamics of easy money and easy credit forever. You're going to actually have to sell something. And so if you're going to build a business, you've got to build a selling machine. And no matter what the product is, whether it's a water heater or a pair of shoes or a box of salt, you've got to really pay attention to the selling structure to get that product moved out of your hands into your buyer's hands. And there are a number of selling structures out there, but the most reliable and the most, I'll say, blue collar selling structure, because there's a lot of crap, so-called marketing gurus who are very limited in their focus, and they only hang out in the marketing and business universe that pays them the most money, which would be publishing, finance, maybe insurance. But I would say that there's some blue collar marketing techniques that you should be aware of. And it has to do with strategy and not expecting so much, but actually focusing on the numbers. How much does it cost? There's two numbers you need to pay attention to when you're marketing your business. You need to pay attention to not how much money you spend in advertising. The regular old advertising agency boy and girl out there, they want to know how much you spend in advertising. Because if you spend enough money, they can scoot themselves into the program, right? Help you spend it, but they won't get involved in in making sure you get a good return on investment. But so there's two numbers you need to pay attention to. I mean, really pay attention to. The first one is your cost per lead, and your next one is your cost per sale. Because if you just pay attention, the way most businesses set up their books is they have a line item for their cost of advertising. Let's say they spend $20,000 a month in advertising expenses. These days, that might be Facebook ads and pay-per-click on Google AdWords, late night television, maybe direct mail. But if you keep track of where your leads originate from and how much your leads cost you, and you keep track of which leads produce the best sales, we're looking at cost per lead and cost per sale. This is the only way, I think, to survive in this wicked economic situation that we're in right now. And what kind of situation are we in? Well, for the longest time, we have had easy money and easy credit in our world. And it just so happens that easy money and easy credit is always followed by hard money and hard credit. It's hard to get, and credit is hard to get. And some people out there in the world call gold and silver hard money. And I'm just using the word hard money as a figure of speech because it's hard to get, because printing up money off of a computer screen, that's pretty easy stuff, you know. Making up money out of thin air, that's pretty easy. Loaning money to big corporations and all the way down to, you know, cashiers for a percentage, that's pretty easy. That's the way to create some amount of money. And when money and credit is easy, it does create a dynamic that means you can run almost any kind of business. But when money and credit is difficult to get, you're going to have to be a serious marketer to make it. And that's why I wanted to show you that book of Robert Collier, because Collier was marketing a whole lot of stuff. He wrote letters to sell raincoats and books and suitcases and travel bags. And he hardly used pictures. This was written, you know, his letters came out of the 1920s and 30s, 40s. So I suspect it's a mistake to rely on just the pictures. You've got to rely on words to sell your product, the right kind of words, and enough of them. And one of the things about direct marketing is that you sell direct. So you know what ads are working, but also you can adjust the price right there on the spot, so to speak. You know if $9.95 is not working, and you know it within hours or days. So you can go up to $19.95 and see if that works, or $29.95. The general advertisers out there who are just not measuring their cost per lead and cost per sale, they might be heading down the wrong road in their strategy. And they wouldn't know it for 6 months or even a year, because they don't analyze things until they're forced to look at the numbers. But you wouldn't sit there and watch a football game and not follow the numbers. A coach wouldn't be a good coach if he didn't follow the numbers. The numbers tell you the next strategy that you should have. If you're way ahead, you can take gambles. If you're way behind, you have to tighten up everything and get your best defense and best offense out there. But if you're not watching the numbers, you're not really playing the game properly. You're coasting along. A lot of plumbers out there have two businesses under one roof. They don't know it. And I'm just using these guys as an example. I'll get to your business in a second, so hang on. So the plumbers have two businesses under one roof, and they don't know it. One is a wholesale business and one is a retail business. And the plumbers Well, what is the wholesale business? Well, that's when a general contractor calls them all together, calls like 20 different plumbers, because he's going to build, 100 condos on this 20 acres of property. And he's the general contractor, and he calls 20 plumbers out, and he says, boys, give me the lowest bid. And he also, and it's implied you're going to have to wait 90 days for payment. So you have to give him the lowest bid, and you have to be the banker. And that is wholesale. You're selling your time and resources wholesale to him because he asked for the lowest bid. Well, the plumber doesn't know it, but he's got another business right under his roof. And so what is that? That's when Mrs. McGillicuddy's toilet gets all clogged up, and she calls him to come and fix the toilet. That is not a wholesale situation. She needs it right now. She's going to pay right now, and he's got to fix it right now, right? So this is a retail situation. And most of the plumbers out there in the world, they don't know that they've got two businesses. But if you get them to separate their books into two different categories so they can analyze their numbers and they can see that Mrs. McGillicuddy and her ilk are actually bringing in all the sweet profits for the plumber's company. And his effort with the building contractor giving him the lowest bid and carrying the paper for 90 days, that's actually costing him money. He's losing money, and Mrs. McGillicuddy and her clan are paying the bills. So once a plumber can see this, well, then he stops giving bids to the general contractor and stops doing that new work, that new construction work. He just goes retail because that's where the money is. And in a similar vein, there are a lot of businesses out there they've got 2 or 3 businesses under their roof. They're not keeping books in the right kind of way. They might do it in a generalized way where they can satisfy the accountant at the end of the year so he can file taxes, but it's not structured information in a way that would make sense to you so that you can make a decision to head off trouble at the pass. So if you know your cost per lead and cost per sale, here's some things that might show up on your radar. Let's say you've got a Facebook ad campaign. It's bringing you leads, not sales, just leads. You're bringing leads over into your sales funnel, your email sales funnel. Let's say you've got 10, 20 email letters that you are prepared to send out. You've got this customer relation management software thing, like constant contact, and all those things. It's all set up, and there's a series of emails ready to go out to them. And you're getting leads from Facebook at $1 a name. And you're running through the cycle, but nobody converts to cash. You want to know that right away. Because, and let's say you've got this other campaign. Let's say it's a direct mail campaign. It's more expensive than the little old magical Facebook marketing. Because to get in the mail is going to cost you $1, $2, maybe $3 in printing cost and postage and mail assembly, renting the names. Yeah, let's say it's going to cost you $3, and then just to do the initial marketing, and then they respond to the mail at a 5%, 15, 20, let's just make up a number. Let's say they respond to the point where you're paying $20 a lead. And you look at your Facebook campaign and you're only paying $1 per lead. But this old direct mail campaign brings them in at $20 per lead. Should you get excited? No, not yet. Because you're only looking at your cost per lead. What is your cost per sale? Now, according to our little story here so far, the Facebook leads are not buying, not with 15 emails or maybe 28 emails. They're not buying. So it's Facebook in this situation is a friggin' waste of time. But let's say you're paying $10 per lead, $20 per lead with old-fashioned direct mail, but every other lead converts to cash. Ah, now we're talking. What are you selling your product for? $100? $10,000? Let's go with $10,000. Let's say you got a $10,000 business opportunity, and you're dragging in leads with old-fashioned direct mail. At $20 per lead is costing you $20 of mailing costs, because you got to mail out X number of names to get these leads to come in. But for every $20 you spend, you get one guy who buys your $10,000 product. Oh my God, that is a good investment. That's what you need to know. You stop running Facebook ads because Facebook is not converting. Let's say you're so happy with the direct mail that you're doing, you try and blend the Facebook with direct mail. So you re-strategize and you ask these Facebook people for their mailing address, their home mailing address. So you try and hit them up with a real piece of snail mail, paper and ink, 4-color. I don't know, whatever you're mailing, but. And then after 2 months or 3 months of screwing around with it, you find out that that strategy doesn't work either. Because if they're responsive to Facebook, are they also responsive to mail? May not be the case. Anyway. So there's a lot of different things that can go wrong that have almost nothing to do with you in this crazy economy. The economy has to be working, and then the market has to be working and excited and willing to buy. And then it comes down to your personal marketing strategies and tactics. Anyway, and the only thing I can see that works in a down economy is direct marketing. And what is direct marketing? It's first of all determining that you've got to measure costs. Your cost per lead and your cost per sale. That's the foundation of direct marketing. And then once you know that you've got to measure the cost, then you design your marketing so that it can be measured. You know that this ad or this way to answer the phone or this salesman actually gives you the best results, and you're measuring the results. You know that these 22 letters work better than these 30 emails. You know that if you mail out this letter, you're going to get a 2% response. But if you mail out this letter over here, you're going to get a 5% response. But if you mail out this long letter, you're going to get a 20% response, and they will convert. What are your numbers? Because this, there's a whole lot of businesses going out of business, especially, in strip malls. I mean, they're all over the country, from the East Coast to the West Coast. A whole lot of businesses have folded up. And I tell you one thing they're not doing direct marketing. They don't own their customers. I have said that and pointed out that Sears Roebuck catalog, way back, 1910, 1920, 1930, 1940, their catalogs had many thousands of words in their catalogs. They were direct marketers. They measured every page, every half page to see its profitability, and they lived by that catalog. And then they started living by the real estate. They became anchor stores all over the country. And then it got to the place to where they forgot about the words. They forgot about the magic of words to sell the product. They just depended on the economy by itself to manage itself and make them a profitable operation, because they were marketing just by being the anchor store at every mall that they could get into around the country, and now they don't exist. Francisco, how you doing? So they don't exist. Because they, there's your invitation, Francisco, if you want to come in. They don't exist because they forgot to measure cost per lead and cost per sale. Do you want to come in? I gave you that connection. There it is again. Spice this thing up, Francisco, with your own personal questions. If you're seeing this later on, I've been thinking of offering a couple of different classes, private classes. And one of them would be a weekly class on reading and discussing Think and Grow Rich. And of course, you can read it on your own, and that would be fine. But over the years, I have led discussions of rooms full of businessmen and entrepreneurs in the 13 steps and revealed in Think and Grow Rich. And, might be an offer some of you guys might be interested in. So leave your comment if you think that would interest you, and I'll see what I can do about ginning up that class. Also, I've thought about giving a class on advanced marketing strategies. And what this class would be about is I have in my files about, I forgot, 20 or 30 different charts that you would make concerning your business and your opportunity. And it's just an axis X and axis Y, you know. And so we would go through these charts together, and these questions are actually questions that, you know, when you answer them, it forms a chart. And so the questions are, how big is your market universe? What is the attrition rate? How many competitors do you have? What new inventions or technologies are coming down the road that would really wipe out you or wipe out your competitor if you got a hold of it and applied it and he didn't? You know, it's just a whole bunch of questions that help you analyze your situation and whether or not you should make changes in the situation. No, I don't have the course out. I suppose I could do it and then sell it that way, just as a private video. I don't want to sell the course because the market for this type of information is just not that big. At any given time, there's only no more than 8,000, 10,000 names of anybody who would want to learn and study advanced marketing strategies at the most. And they'd be hard to find unless I would rent Ben Settle's list, but I don't think he rents his list. Or Doberman Dan, I don't know if he rents his list either. But it just wouldn't be practical for me to make a course because I'm not terribly interested in all the headaches involved. That would, you know, I'm retired, so, but I will do a class on it. Maybe Dan Kennedy's list is available. I think it might be, but still, I don't want to get involved in that much work. So if I can help somebody just from my little efforts here on this channel in a lazy kind of way. I am lazy and I am retired and I do not want to do all the work that would be involved in selling a course on advanced marketing strategies, even though, you know, a lot of people need it. A lot of entrepreneurs might need it and might be convinced that it would be helpful. I've found it helpful over the years to put these charts together and ask the questions. That's basically what it is, just asking the right questions. I mean, just the question of how many competitors do you have? That's a really good question. How many competitors do you have? Well, let's say you're a chiropractor. Let's say you know that in your town there are 27 chiropractors. Well, then the next question is, how many employees do they have? Because 27 chiropractors at just a mom and pop shop is one thing, but 27 chiropractors that have like 10 employees each, ooh, that's a different dynamic, and you'd want to be able to analyze that. Could you someday make a video about your book library? I suppose, yeah, because I do have quite a few books that I've learned from over the years. I made one today. Want to see? Before you got here, I was prattling about the Robert Collier letter book, because according to the title of this episode, it's about how to succeed in business when the economy is crazy, see? And the reason I brought this book out of my library is because Robert Collier did a lot of marketing during the Great Depression time period. What did he do successfully? Oh, might be helpful to know that those things could also help or be a viable business in this economy too. Hmm. Make a video about your book library and 5 minutes talking about each one, and your channel would grow fast. Well, anyway, so back to this idea. I could do a class on Think and Grow Rich, and I could do a class also on advanced marketing strategies. And also, let me put this out there. Oh, I could do that one, yeah. How to convert white space into advertising that sells. Yeah, I could do a whole class on that one, and that would be an important class. And then I could do a class on accounting, how to read financial statements. That would be it. How to read financial statements and make sense of where you are according to the numbers. That might be a helpful class. But so leave a comment down below if you actually stumble on this damn video and listen to it, and you might want any of these 4 classes that I've mentioned. That might encourage me to head down that direction or that direction or that direction. Anyway, so yeah, Francisco, the how to convert white space in advertising that sells. That might be a good class to do. Okay, that book is hard to find. Mr. Bedell finally died. See, old man Bedell, Clyde Bedell, died in 1984, as I recall, and his son was still in the advertising business and sold that course, How to Convert White Space into Advertising That Sells. He sold that course. He had a garage full of them, and he would sell them from 84 up until last year when he died. He was about 85 years old when I last talked to him. And I would talk to him once every month or once every 6 months. And then he up and died. He was just 84, 85 years old. He up and died. Didn't pick up the phone. Finally, the phone went dead, so I just assumed he died. And I don't know how many books he still had of How to Convert White Space, but I wouldn't know how to get them unless his son somehow, Mr. Barry Bedell's son, somehow discovers this and contacts me, and we can work out a deal for putting those books back out, make them available until the supply runs out. Anyway, that would be another course. So Think and Grow Rich, Advanced Marketing Strategies, How to Convert White Space into Advertising That Sells, and How to Read Financial Statements. That's 4 courses I could get involved with, and I am qualified to teach. Anyway. So you think you might like the How to Convert White Space, huh, Francisco? So I would probably do it on video. My perspective on his course would be interesting because I'm a great student of Bedell, and I can easily see how his methods can be adapted in the modern age with marketing online as well as offline. and I would bring in examples. Do you have a copy of it? I'd bring in examples of old ads and new ads, old marketing methods and new marketing methods. All right. I'll wind it up for now. And we'll do another show like this, Lord willing, Monday. Thanks for joining me.